when the songs go like that?
My bad. I was thinking. Let's start over from the top.
This one we got to keep in. This one gets the views.
We didn't even say welcome. Welcome back, everybody, to Choppin Wood, episode 3.
Man.
Wait, let's start one more time.
Start over one more time.
Let me drink a little more Red Bull real quick. All right.
Oh, man.
Welcome back, everybody, to Choppin Wood, episode 3.
Yo, someone told me we fell off, Cave. Ooh. I think I needed that.
Oh, see, you didn't put that line in there the first time. First off, you know what it is. Yeah, we chopping. You know what? I'm not gonna spit some bars for you guys. Lil Guppy's retired. So you're gonna have to pay at our Patreon.
You don't got an 8 in the tuck?
What?
You don't got no 8 in the tuck?
If that's a drug reference, no.
No, you ain't trying to spit an 8?
Oh, 8 bars? No, I thought you meant like an 8, like a gram. Is that what it's called?
I don't know what you're talking about. All this illegal activity you're talking about right now, I don't know what it is.
Well, shout out to my boy Eddie who helped me fix my tire today. He had an 8-ball corner pocket. Said he was leaning off some blackout. You don't know nothing about that. You know, but shout out to my boy Eddie. Shout out to my boy Jose. Shout out to my girl Andriana. I don't know what their names were.
I don't know if is that her real name. That doesn't sound like a drug addict name.
I pulled in and they smelled burning rubber, so they come running thinking they can sell me an ounce. And no, I'm just kidding, Eddie. If you're watching
crack or tweak?
They were actually at a rehab center. So I think they were. I don't know. It was a weird day. Let's put it that way. But yeah, shout out to my boy Eddie. Shout out to my boy Eduardo. And get him on the pod at some point. Him and his boy Nixon. Yeah, no, he was cool actually. He was cool. I don't know where we got off. If anyone sells drugs, it's not me. Never been impaired like that. Shout out to all you drug users out there though. You know who you are. But what is a drug? You know what I mean? What even is considered a drug? You know,
do we want to go down this rabbit hole?
No, let's talk about Mortal Kombat.
Because we can go there.
I mean, well, point being, like, you know, because I watch a lot of Narcos, and Breaking Bad. Remember that conversation between Walt and Hank? Like, what's going to be legal in the next 30 years? He said when they were smoking the Cubans or whatever, I think he said.
Oh yeah, and he thought weed was. That's just what's funny though. Like how times have changed.
Right.
Oh, literally, hell, not even 5 years ago, like you could get arrested, like, and do prison time.
Yeah.
And now, you know, you can't. What is it? You can't have over maybe like what? I don't know the rules for sure for weed, but what is it, like 2 ounces, 3 ounces, 5 ounces in the car?
You definitely have a limit you can have though.
Oh no, for sure. Like it's like you obviously have a limit. You can't just ride around with fucking 10 pounds.
Right. And as a drinker, as the non-drinker, I'm saying, I don't even think about my boy Sam Dupree, shout out Sam. He gave me a Jaguar's Bud Light, I think it was, can of alcoholic beverage, and which I still have. Shout out Sam. And I think I was like
flat as hell.
He gave it to me, but I don't know if it was him or someone was like, hey, like put that away. You're not allowed to have like alcohol out and about, like.
Yeah, you know. No, because what is it? You can't unless it's like they sell alcohol, like the facility, like the place, like in Vegas, like you could walk on the strip with alcohol, and in New Orleans you could walk out with alcohol. But if you're like outside of that area, you get arrested and like a ticket and shit because you're not supposed to be carrying alcohol.
See, I had no idea. Obviously,
that's why when like you walk, like say you were to walk out of a restaurant, they say no alcohol beyond this limit when you walk out.
Oh,
trouble for that.
So if I had a brown paper bag, then you couldn't identify the alcohol. You need a warrant.
Oh, yeah. Basically, yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the cops, I mean, they don't really give the bums that much. Like if they're out there drinking or drunk or hungover or passed out, I mean, they'll check on them. But if they know they're drinking, they don't really care too much about them, I think.
Right. If people are getting belligerent or starting fights or something, then sure,
That's
they'll cite them.
Yeah. But if they're just chilling, drunk as hell, homeless, I mean.
But even if it's closed, even if I don't pop it open, even if like I don't pop the tab,
it can't be open, so you could walk around with a bed like because you have to, if you buy a 12-pack or whatever from the store, you can obviously walk out with it. You just or if you buy a tall can, you just can't open it and drink out in the open unless you're home or in a facility that sells alcohol and is licensed to sell. You know what I'm saying?
I do now. Appreciate you. See, you learn something every day on the Choppin Wood podcast. Even though 99% of people drink, like the 99.9%. I'm like the 1%.
I think it's more just to stop you from driving, but it is what it is.
Right. So yeah, no, Mortal Kombat. You know. So did you see it? You watched it?
I did see. I saw it Sunday. So I liked it. It was funny. Kano was definitely a hoot.
Are we talking spoilers? Because if you haven't seen it yet, switch. Just fast forward through this.
Oh yeah, for sure. What the fuck they be saying? Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. Spoilers. Mortal Kombat. This is your chance to get out of here, but don't leave the podcast. Stay in here. Just fast forward. Maybe if I can find a way to do a little text that says you can fast forward to a certain point. But yeah, let's get into some Mortal Kombat talk. Did you play the games growing up?
Yeah, I was about to say. So before we get into the movie, I definitely played the games. I played the first one on Sega.
Okay.
And I obviously knew the background of like a lot of it leading, and like I didn't really play too much of like. Probably stopped playing it when it got to probably 4, and then I started playing it again when it got to 9, where that's when like if you played the games, 9 is where Raiden went back in time and like kind of restarted everything in a sense, and that's what led to 10, 11, and 12. And I kind of thought that's how I thought they were going to start the movie. Like, I guess in some way they did, but I didn't think Liu Kang was going to be such a bitch. I didn't think that was going to happen. Definitely I do believe that the scorpion that they used was definitely the scorpion they used in the game, because it looks the exact same, like the same person that modeled the scorpion in the game. As far as like the newer versions. Sub-Zero, I didn't expect him to look as young as he did. I thought he was also going to look old. I didn't know he was that much younger than Scorpion too.
Interesting casting choice.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know Scorpion was that young, even in like the lore. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed it. Hell, my fiance actually came to the movies with us too, and she knows nothing about fucking Mortal Kombat, and she said she loved the movie. Like, she enjoyed it. But me personally, I mean, if I had to nitpick it, I just thought it was going to go more towards like the game storyline. But it is what it is. I think it was more for, I was saying for the kids, but it's not for the kids. It's an R-rated movie.
Right. No, it's funny you bring that up. Well, first off, did you saw it in theaters?
Yes.
Okay, so I watched it on HBO Max at the crib. I'll say first off, and there wasn't even much spoilers in what you said there. So, in general, I think, it's funny. The rated R, I'm hearing, obviously it's rated R because of the blood and gore, but then
the cursing a little bit,
and the cursing
wasn't that bad. Yeah.
So, but you might as well have cursing in it if you're gonna go that deep with the blood and gore, which Mortal Kombat.
You have to. You know what I'm saying?
So like the mom's like, "Oh, fuck this." I'm like, okay, yeah, like I like that. You would say that.
Kano was just hilarious. Like that. Yeah. Whoever the guy that played Kano was a good choice for.
He had a charisma about him that kind of stole the show when he was in the scenes, you know. Mm-hmm. But I thought, how did you feel? So I didn't know you know that much about the lore. Like, you're deep in the story.
Oh yeah, like I'm like I said, I'm not a really big gamer. I'm more like the one person game, or like those fighting games that are 2-on-2 or shit like that.
Right. How did you feel about them having a brand new character as the star though?
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't know who the fuck Cole was.
Right. the whole time. You're like, who is this dude?
Yeah,
I'm
like,
expecting him to turn into Scorpion or something, like another version.
I thought that too, but until like Raiden, and then now, which was some real spoilers. So Raiden was like giving the hints, like Scorpion was coming back, like when he was in hell and he's trying to find his way out for thousands of years and shit. I was just like, so this guy isn't gonna be Scorpion,
right?
I don't even know what he is really. I mean, he just had a suit and some like weapons.
He has some armor that glowed when you hit it, which didn't hurt him apparently. And then he got those blade things like Cabal. He had like Cabal's weapons.
That's what I'm saying. I thought,
it was weird.
So I got a beef a little bit with the whole, thing. And you being a Marvel fan, now tell me that didn't give you some kind of reminiscence of the Marvel movies. To me, the suit thing reminded me of Black Panther.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of the shit that was going on kind of resembled a lot of like Iron Man, Captain America, where like he was just this dude getting beat up all the time, and all of a sudden he just got stronger out of nowhere because his family was about to die and all this other shit. Granted, he didn't go through mutation like Captain America, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seemed like they were trying to pull off, WB was trying to pull off their own kind of DC thing with the not DC thing, their own Marvel thing with Mortal Kombat.
Well, yeah, no, it's funny because there's like 100+ characters to choose from. Or maybe even more, like Mortal Kombat character, and they choose to make their own. A bold choice. But my thing with him is I don't want to shit on the actor, because he could fight. Like, the fight scenes were worth it in this movie. A lot of people, I don't even care about it. Like, and we'll get to the fight scenes.
Yeah.
But his character, his acting, was dry as hell, to be honest with you. And when at the very beginning, when they're in the octagon, he's fighting, and it kind of set up for, like, don't tap out. Well, you're gonna get your shit broke if you don't tap. I thought that was his sister, like, in his corner, but it was his daughter. And I was like, you don't look old enough. It just feels weird. Like, but then you're acting like buddy, but like, that's your daughter. And I'm from New York. And so I was like, I honestly didn't know his name at first. I didn't know who that girl was. And then when he like took her to McDonald's or whatever, and then Sub-Zero attacked, it was kind of cool to see Sub-Zero, how Jax like got his arms, in a sense, like his shit got broken off. I don't know how much in the lore that is true to it.
See, I don't remember Jax losing his arms like that. Maybe he did. I thought it was later, because he was an army dude, right? So I thought it was another mission he went on, and that's how he lost them.
I mean, it was a cool thing.
It could be the way. Yeah, it was cool. But no. So my initial thought to Cole, like when we see him as an adult. Or not even him. I thought that was him. That wasn't him. That was his fucking great ancestor. Like the baby that was in the beginning.
I thought it was him.
I thought it was him too, but it was his great.
It was like his
greatest grandmother or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. But to me, that didn't make sense, because I thought Raiden came and took him and put him in another timeline. That's what I thought.
Well, and I thought, one, the baby won't stop crying. And then you put it in under the cupboard, under the floor, and then it stops during the whole fight sequences. And then, because he thinks, Sub-Zero thinks he defeated his lineage or whatever. And I can deal with that, because I actually really like the first 10 minutes. And I know they dropped that like early on YouTube or whatever, so people could see it. I thought, holy shit, like, this movie is actually, like, the action's going to be hot. They're going for a really cinematic feel here. A lot of deep, emotional ties to that first initial scene. I was like, this is grounded in reality. This is cool. And then they went to, our time, and then it got blockbuster. It got a little popcorny, a little Marvel, which is entertaining. But again, like your fiance, if you don't know any lore or anything, you're going for the action and the gore.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean, we're maybe nitpicking, but and then they did leave it open for the sequel, obviously, which there's so many more characters that they can add in. So like, I'm kind of intrigued for
Oh
their
no,
little
for sure.
universe.
Like, like I said, I don't know if you're a big God of War person, but they do throw Kratos into the games. Like
Mm.
one of the games, like he's a playable character you can unlock. I mean, I don't know if they. I mean, Netflix threw out a little snippet saying they might make a God of War show. I don't know if I really would want to see that, but maybe a cameo from him in a Mortal Kombat movie wouldn't be too bad. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, like something. I was about to say some shit. Had to do with the movie.
That Cole was dry as hell. Oh, your bitch Liu Kang is a bitch.
Oh no, yeah, like that. Because so in the video games, he's like in the first one, he's the main.
He's the dude.
Yeah, he's the one that defeats all of them, wins the whole tournament, and he's the chosen one technically.
I thought he was going to be the main character, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought that was Liu Kang. I thought Cole was Liu Kang.
Yeah.
At first. I mean, yeah, and that might be a little bit, bad of because he's Asian, but but no, I mean, overall, it was a cool movie. I mean, I thought it would get a little bit more towards like the timeline. Have you seen the first one, like the very first one back in the 90s?
Annihilation, or whatever it was called. I think I've seen it once, yeah, but it was like kind of corny.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like that definitely looked like, one of those movies they'd show you in Spanish class.
Right.
Especially like in the 90s. Kind of just put it together, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not Scorpion. Reptile was a cool little cameo.
See, yeah, and he was in his like an actual like reptile form.
See, so here's a little backstory on that if you don't know it. So Reptile was supposed to be like, so in the other one, the first movie, he was actually like a ninja,
right? And
then he kind of slowly turned into like his lizard form. So the reason like he's a ninja is because he's like, he's a master to control him, and then once he doesn't have a master no more, he kind of like really goes into becoming a lizard more or reptile more. It's kind of weird, but
well,
like,
I'm
surprised. Go ahead.
When he has control, like kind of like the Hulk in a sense, he doesn't harness his.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like that was just too much similarities and stuff, but I digress. I thought that they would have put Reptile to begin with as a ninja instead of his straight reptile form, but
right. That because when I saw Reptile, I was like, well, first off, his venom or whatever can just melt shit. Mm-hmm. So why don't you just keep using that? Like it can just melt through a person. Just grab them and then spray him or whatever. But
right.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him in ninja form, and then maybe like as he's through the fight or whatever, lose control or something. Like, cool character. Obviously, one of my favorite characters to use in the game, to be honest with you. But yeah, I feel like I don't know, like because there's multiple ninjas, like Noob Saibot. Like I want to see more Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, like straight up.
Same. I definitely want to see that. I think a lot of people, and people want to see Raiden fight too.
Oh, and Raiden was one of my favorite characters too, and he just kind of was a grand wizard the whole time. I'm Raiden, get your hands dirty a little bit, and stop being a little biatch, and fight. Come on now, like you can transport people and whatnot. Like, why don't you get your hands dirty?
Oh, for sure. Not to mention, we still got a whole bunch more. We got Baraka.
Oh man,
coming through. We got. I'm pretty sure they're gonna put Katana in there. Kodokan. I mean, there's still a lot more characters that they got to put in. So
when they're doing him Striker, he had like guns and shit.
Yeah.
Something Sector.
Dude. Yeah. There's still a lot more that they could do with this.
Nighthawk, or who's like the native, the like Cherokee.
I forget his name.
They referenced him. I think.
You're right. I think they did. Like they slowly, they showed that, and I was like, oh, I didn't think they were gonna show him this early, but they did. Well, they did. They referenced him though.
Sometimes I get like the Mortal Kombat characters, and then Tekken and Street Fighter. there's so many of those kind of two-dimensional fighting games.
Oh no, for sure. Like I used to get a lot from like Tekken confused. I used to get King confused a lot.
Yeah.
Eddie Gaucho.
Well, like did you ever play Primal Rage a long time ago?
I played Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct's another one. Yeah. So that's not Primal Rage, but
oh no.
You had like Fulgore, fucking Cinder. I'm trying to think of Killer Instinct people now. Night Wolf, even though I just said Night Hawk. Point being, Skeletor. There's all those versions. Sometimes it gets a little, fuzzy. I wonder if they're gonna come out with more like Street Fighter or Killer Instinct.
Maybe
if they go into like a story mode, like they did with this, in a sense.
Maybe. I mean, I know a lot of the new Mortal Kombats have story mode. Like now it's not like how the old ones used to be, where like you pick one character and you fight as them throughout the whole time. Now it's more of like you just play the story mode. It's kind of like how like the Marvel games are, like the DC games.
Mm-hmm.
You just play the story mode and you just switch off, and it just switches you off on characters automatically.
Right. Well, but I'm saying, since they have enough characters in those universes, how like this Mortal Kombat movie was like a lead up to the Mortal Kombat tournament, and so it was like its own thing in a sense.
Yeah.
But like the iconic characters for everybody seeing it is gonna, you just want to see your characters and let them get their rocks off in a fight. So but I thought the action was crazy in this. I thought it was cinematically really
well for sure. It was really enjoyable. I mean, I laughed, I chuckled, still at times, It was a good, it was a good movie. Way better than fucking Godzilla.
Right. I actually watched the whole thing. I didn't get like preoccupied with anything. Godzilla, I'm like, man, this is rough.
It was trash, but yeah, so it was a good movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'll watch it again. I'll watch the sequel if they have one.
Right. Well, but that goes to show though how like Godzilla and Kong, it does look beautiful still. I mean, it's a $100 million movie or whatever, but if the story or the characters aren't cutting it, then you just tune out no matter how beautiful something looks, like
no, for sure.
Good action or like good cinematic quality can only carry you for so long. So, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Cole. I don't even know his last name or if that is his last name, but like, like you said, that was basically just a superhero that they created in a suit.
For sure.
Like Black Panther, that's basically like Gold Panther. And I don't know, how did his wife and daughter survive being frozen alive in the octagon for that long? I digress.
Guru, right? That's the forearm arm.
He would have beat that ass without turning. Like, yeah, and like I think
it pissed me off because when she really just ran and had like an axe or some shit and sliced them, and they just like run to the car. That like obviously that was for the kids,
right?
For like the young people, and because that's not realistic. Now
very unrealistic.
Right now, like, nah, this fucker's gonna chomp you up, and then like for him just to beat the truck up and not really just, go to
flip it,
rip them apart.
Just grab it and chuck it, even. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
Yeah. I mean, but no, it was cool. I mean, we're dumping on it now, but it was a good movie.
Oh yeah. So have you watched any documentaries on Netflix lately?
Lately, I think the last one I watched was the Cecil Hotel disappearance. So no.
I'd like to get into that, but let's talk about that another time. There's another one there's two on my mind right now. So I've seen, you do watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? Have you heard of the show?
I've heard of it, but I have not watched it.
Okay. So it's a show by Larry David, who is, you've seen Seinfeld, so he is George Costanza. Literally, George Costanza is about him. But the show had nothing. This had nothing to do with the show. The documentary I watched was about a guy who was framed for murder, but he was at a Dodgers game, and he got off because Larry David and them he was at the Dodgers game, and the episode that Larry David was filming was at a Dodgers game, and they had the guy on camera that he was at the game.
I've seen the trailer and the thumbnail for it,
Yeah.
and it kind of gave it away that like,
No.
oh,
Yeah.
he was at the game, so I just never watched it.
Well, it's
Which is
literally like
crazy.
45 minutes. It's really not that long of a doc, but
It was only one episode, like one.
Oh yeah, it's not
okay.
like it's not, and it was like in 2017. But the crazy thing about it is, like, that can happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are the odds of that shit happening? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people really wanted to put this man in jail for doing nothing.
Right. No, well, I thought, okay, so obviously not watching it, I thought that he just caught a foul ball or was on camera or something. I didn't know it was they were recording a show.
Yeah.
And not, I guess, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but did he go, how did he know they were filming, or was he on camera on the episode, or?
Oh no, so he didn't know. His lawyer was the one that just had to do a bunch of digging in, like with the Dodger Stadium people, to find out how, like, what they were filming. Just happened to film that day. Anything. It could have been anything. It could have been news. It could have been like the fucking cameras that are just in the stadium.
Mm-hmm. But his client said, I was at the Dodger game. I couldn't.
No, yeah. So like the thing is that literally where Larry David was filming, the guy was sitting, and he's not in the show. He's in like outtakes that they have.
Okay.
And caught him right as Larry David's walking up the stairs. The guy's turning into a seat with his daughter, and you see his face on 2 different cameras too. It was mind blowing. It kind of freaked me out a bit.
No, I definitely need to. Well, I may peep it still, but no, that's a crazy. Did he go to jail, or?
So he was in like confinement because he was going through the murder case. He wasn't out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Had to be, I guess, in jail. But yeah, no, it was just crazy. Like, the things that could happen, and they were really still trying to convince them that he was the one that killed the person, because I guess the shooting happened around 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
The game, when they caught him on film, was at like 9:10.
So they're still saying that he could have gotten home or whatever.
And like, that's the fucked up part about that. And I was like, you saw the guy at the game. Like, there's no way. I just don't think, in my opinion, especially for him having his daughter and 2 other friends with him, he'd be willing to go and pop somebody after. Like,
right.
I see that.
Well, see, that makes me think of Making a Murderer, which you have not watched, right?
No.
Okay, so you need to, so we could chop it on this podcast. I really need to chop this word with you, because some breaking news just dropped about a week ago about the case, and I have a lot on my mind about the case. I'm on Reddit's TikTok Manitowoc Reddit page, so I'm deep in there. But what's her name? Kathleen Zellner, Avery's new lawyer, just dropped some bombshell news about a week or so ago. But so I need you to watch it. This is my public plea. I need you to watch it. It's 2 seasons. But that makes me think of Stephen Avery, because when the cops say we want that, okay, we think it's him, they're going to kind of do all they can to prove who they want it to be, regardless of looking at, in an objective matter. You know what I mean? And that's sad.
And you bring that up, like, identifying people is like the fucked up thing about, like, I think any kind of like detective work or whatnot, because so check this, the span, the frame of how they placed this guy was 5'7" to 5'10", black hair, black eyes, or brown hair, brown eyes, or blonde hair, blue eye. Like, every description of this guy, and a mustache.
Oh, so it was my dad. My dad committed the murder.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, and then like they had someone, who I guess saw the shooting at the time, identify the guy, and
in like a lineup.
No. Just like give it the description of him. Draw him. They had like 9 to 12 people that it could have been. One person just picked one random person and said it was him. And that's just fucked up about that kind of thing. Like, this man was innocent. They ended up finding the guy who was in none of the drawings. But yeah, I thought that was just some crazy shit, like how that works.
Did you watch the Night Stalker?
I did, and
Bro, that like
that guy, I do believe Richard Ramirez was way. I think he was way too deep in satanic stuff.
yes, he was evil
Look
as
at
fuck.
some of his later pictures that they took of him, like his like for me, when if you I don't know how much you believe in any like that kind of stuff, but I do believe if you mess around with it enough, you do deform. And if you look at his earlier pictures, he looks kind of normal, but as he kind of goes on, it maybe could have been the drugs he's doing or whatnot. But like his forehead and his eyes kind of like sucked in and like went out. If you kind of like look at his stuff, like his forehead kind of out more, his eyes were kind of indented more, and
Well,
he looked creepy.
and the crazy thing is, he fucking, in a sense, so he had like fucked up teeth. Like he had a bunch of missing teeth and shit.
Yeah,
So,
that was bad.
but when he walked into the courtroom, like they were saying how he sort of looked like Mick Jagger, like a rock star.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't a horrible looking dude, no homo pause, but then he opens his mouth and you're like, whoa, you're fugly, my man. But
no, yeah, that's
they
wild.
said the people who encountered him, like that one dude at the library or whatever, when he was asking about fucking murder books or whatever, he said like he reeked of like death and grunge, and he had like black eyes, just like there's a darkness in them that didn't look like a human eye. And so I feel like he just went completely dark. And the crazy thing is he was visiting his brother or whatever in Tucson.
Yeah, like he would visit here a
here.
lot.
Yeah, that's so like it's really scary to think like a dude like that roaming around, you know, and then what he did to all his victims. Like that was a crazy ass documentary.
It was kind of scary. What was wild though to me to think is that he said he was naming cases to people that were still open in San Francisco. Like I think it was like the last episode where he was like he was naming cases. He's like, you'll never know what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
And like that were still open at the time, and they didn't know it was even him.
Right.
It's crazy, and then they started thinking, well, what about murders that happened maybe in New Mexico and in Arizona? Like, could those have been him?
And the crazy part is I mentioned the Cecil Hotel documentary.
I know we might as well just get into it.
But yeah, but you haven't seen it, right?
No, I have.
Oh yeah, he fucking lived there. He stayed there at the Cecil Hotel, which is known for fucking murder and shit. Like he would literally commit the crime and like walk
back there
through the thing like with a bloody shirt and his underwear, and like no one even blinked an eye. Like that's how dark that place was. Now, granted, that documentary, I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was also very misleading because
I thought so too.
Of the result was clearly at the beginning, and then they make you think it's all this, and then it's actually this the whole time. But you know, and I think it's interesting with like the internet sleuths and stuff like that trying to figure it out. But that hotel though is like super sketch, and it's like right on Skid Row, and just the surroundings and everything. Like if you're not from here, from I guess America, I mean that place is fucking in an awful like spot, and to build themselves as like a 5-star hotel or whatever, which I don't know if that's what they're doing, but yeah, that was a crazy fucking documentary. Like,
so what got me and what made me think more, and like there's really no coincidence to this because it was all true and like they all marked it down, was like her name, the blood type that they were looking for, her name spelled backwards for something like medical and shit like that, like, and then how she supposedly worked on certain things in college for like certain pharmaceutical places.
It was a conspiracy as hell.
Like and then they said she had what was it, bipolar or something? She had like there was something wrong with her mentally, they said.
Yeah, so how could she have closed the thing over her?
That's what I'm saying.
Spoiler alert, I guess if you haven't seen it, she's in the tank. But like I think there's foul play. Like, and also
I think so too.
Like for example, people are saying like, well, no, if they went through the employee, like the staircase exit or whatever, an alarm goes off. Well, and then the hotel manager who's clearly a fucking dumb bitch. No offense if you're watching. But fucking at LA Fitness, a lot of doors that say emergency alarm are just the label. They don't actually sound an alarm.
Yeah.
So, and heaven forbid it was one of the staff or whatever that had a key to get up there anyway. But do we really think that she actually climbed out the window and then, I guess, climbed up the side of the building? Maybe, but then how does she close the thing on top of her?
I think there's a lot more to go on with that fucking shit that they were saying, like the government shit that they didn't really address, but like 2 seconds. Yeah. I think more of that shit was going on than what we think.
Like we'll probably never know.
Cause like, what do you think? Do you think someone killed her? Or do you think she drowned, like on her own?
She was found naked in the tank with the thing sealed.
And their explanation was so wild. They said that she was undressing herself while she was in there drowning. Like that, no.
Right. And
you're too scared. Like I've never drowned before, but that seems like too much. You're worried about trying to survive instead of taking your shit off.
Right. Well, and also like for me, it's the lid because it was too heavy. It was heavy for her regardless, but to get the torque to like you know what I mean, to close it from above.
Yeah, you'd have to be swinging with it.
Like, yeah, you like almost have to be out of the tank and then close. I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah.
But and then when she gets on and off the elevator, it looks like she's talking to somebody. I know they said like she was, fucked up or whatever potentially.
Well, they also said that I'm sorry to keep like they said that someone edited it. The more you look deeper in it.
Oh no, yeah, the door edit. Like there was an edit for sure in that. And why is there an edit?
It was crazy.
Like I mean, in the sense the documentary was good. I mean, like obviously it takes you in loops to like where she was or where she ended up fine. Like it acted like she just disappeared off the face of the earth, but the actual circumstances are still kind of mind-boggling in a sense.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, I'm more of the believer still that scientific shit was the real reason why they killed her. Like I just like granted now maybe like I said if she was like mentally disordered or whatever. I don't know. There's that shit just didn't seem like that was not coincidence that her name was there in like the state or whatever, like in Canada, somewhere, Vancouver somewhere, and like her name was the name of like a certain hemoglobin or like certain blood thing. Like it was just too odd for that to be real. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And how easy would it be for the government or whatever? And you know me and you like we are interested in conspiracies, and I don't want to I'm skeptical by default, but I don't want to just write off something as too unbelievable or it's not believable enough, like but how easy would it be for the government to just claim like, oh yeah, they're bipolar, they're crazy, and then for something to happen to them and then just blame it on like she's off her meds or whatever? Like that's a super easy way to get rid of somebody. You know what I mean? So sure. I personally think, I mean, the whole thing with like Charles Manson apparently was in MK Ultra, like when he did a stint in prison or whatever. And it goes so deep to where Manson could have been basically a product of government experiments and shit.
Experimentation, yeah.
So I mean, and like they mess around with drugs and psychedelics and stuff. So who knows? They're gonna pry on people with not a lot of family, people who don't have a lot of value or financial money.
Not to mention her family was like they were I think they were Asian. I forgot what what they were but they didn't barely spoke English. I mean, they had a restaurant business that they had, but then they kind of had to put that to a halt. Her sister was the only one I think really spoke fluent English, but like even her sister could have been scared or something because she said she just wasn't there mentally. Like she said that about her sister, so maybe she was scared too. It was just odd. Like it was just real crazy situation that happened.
Yeah, I guess if for those listening out there, if you want to go visit someplace all by yourself, maybe best not to, or bring a friend, or definitely do your due diligence on where you're located. Because like online you could look up a hotel or whatever, it says it's great or whatever, but you don't know the surroundings. Like if you're in Arizona, you could be, in Gilbert or something, and then you go to Apache Junction, 10 miles down the road, and it's a completely different game, or, across the freeway, or I don't want to dump on Apache Junction, but no, but yeah, that's crazy. You really got to see Making a Murderer though, because I really want to chop a lot of wood on that.
I'll definitely have to catch it then.
Yeah, like tonight, right now, put it on in the background.
But that you saying like don't look online because not everything looks the same. That brings me to my next segue. In the next documentary I wanted to talk about was, have you seen Why Did You Kill Me?
No, I haven't. Should I?
On Netflix. So it's interesting. It put a lot into my mind on how MySpace was used back then. So a girl gets killed, a gang-related situation, supposedly, or something happened. She ended up getting killed. It wasn't her fault. Like she wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And like her at the time 13-year-old niece was using MySpace after she had passed already to find out who the killers were. And she found two dudes that were involved in that time with the situation that happened when why she got shot. It's just funny, like they did the catfish thing. Like she put pictures of a girl, of some random broad being someone totally different. And then that kind of worked, but not fully. And then they end up putting a picture of the girl that, like her aunt, the girl that got killed, as the main picture or the main photo now. And no one knew who this girl was, because they didn't know that they killed her. They didn't know it was even a part of the situation that happened. So they kind of found out through that. The whole point of telling you this is that it's crazy how social media back then was used, and to not think that someone's actually catfishing you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now look at the show that when Catfish came out, now everyone thinks almost everybody damn near is a catfish unless you see him in person.
Right.
Then it's just crazy. Like, and also how old you could have been on to get on that. Like, I remember you had to put your name and you had to put your birthday and be older than 16 to be able to get on. I don't know if you remember that, but
on MySpace,
fake MySpace is out there with fake date of births.
No, yeah, regardless, it's a scary place online, and that's it's crazy. You truly don't know who you're talking to, or unless you meet. But also, if you're too paranoid, like let's say you meet somebody and you're like, well, send a picture with a Red Bull in your hand, you know what I mean, to prove that you're real. Like, then it's like, well, you don't believe me. I guess you could be too paranoid in a sense where it's kind of ridiculous, but might as well do your due diligence, because you don't want to end up like old girl in the thing. But no, I should probably check that one out. Is that multiple episodes or?
No, it's an hour and a half, I think. Maybe
hour 15. I like miniseries in a sense because it can delve real deep. You know what I mean? Yeah. But which, like, Making a Murderer.
It's like a great little pickup. Nothing crazy. I mean, it's pretty crazy, but if you watch it, it just put. And the guy that they caught, who was somewhat involved with what they did at first, and this happened back in 2006. The guy who was on the run, because of this documentary, they found one of them in Mexico 2 weeks after they stopped filming. After they edited everything, 2 weeks after, they found the guy in Mexico.
Oh wow.
Like, it's just crazy, like how this shit kind of works. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think Making a Murderer is gonna blow your mind.
Is it real, or is it like all like based off real stuff but not fully?
It's 100% real. It's free Brandon Dassey. That's my trigger. Brandon. No, it's crazy because of the circumstances of the situation. And you talk about like the dude going from the baseball game to popping that guy in an hour with his kid, and her friends or whatever. Like I said, there's certain things that like just don't fit. And Well, do you know anything about it?
I just know it's about making a murderer. I don't know.
Okay,
I
so
know Sandra is the one that created the show.
Okay. Well, do you want a quick synopsis, like a one-line thing of it, or do you want to just go into it blind?
I go into it blind. I don't care.
Okay, because I think you'll like it. It's very conspiracy driven. You know what I mean? But like you're just gonna ask yourself questions like, why did this happen? Why did that happen? And it's I've watched it like 4 or 5 times. I'm like deep on it, and it's like I said, some big news just came out about a week or so ago, and I would love to delve into it potentially on the next Choppin Wood pod or however long it takes you to finish it, low key. Because we're talking about conspiracies, and you know me and like these documentaries. This shit is like I gotta talk, I gotta vent to the people out there and to you. I need to get your feeling on this because it's crazy. It's crazy. I need you out here.
For sure.
Get our chainsaws out. You know what I mean? But shoot, yeah, we're coming up on about an hour. Should we? I know you wanted to maybe bring up talk about OnlyFans. Should we save that for the next one because I got some references on that too?
We definitely can because I definitely got some topics about that I really want to talk about. Nothing too crazy, but I definitely want to talk about it.
Yeah, subscribe to my OnlyFans, Quest Sparrow. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, we'll get into that, and then definitely have to get on that making a murderer for sure next step.
No, for sure. But yeah, man, it's been lit.
Yeah, I mean, Choppin Wood, how are you guys liking this podcast? Anything you want us to talk about? Well, I don't give a motherfuck. We're going to talk about whatever we want here, okay? See this tree, this virtual tree? I'm chopping it down, and I don't care, if you're going to just condemn my battle axe. Like, we're chopping wood. That's what we do here.
And it's not your podcast.
It's not. And if now you're like, I don't like these guys because they're talking shit and like they're very, it's their podcast. Well, don't tune in then, my man. If you're a cup of water, don't sip from this cup. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to keep chopping wood. Hopefully you guys are getting your chainsaws and putting your safety goggles on as well. But, shout out to all our lumberjacks out there. We need to keep doing like more lingo.
The lumberjacks, yo.
Yeah. So shout out to all our lumberjacks. Let's get a pickaxe in the chat. We're not live, but and then fuck yeah. Next episode is gonna be crazy. This man's gonna
got some shit.
He's gonna be watching Making a Murderer. I'm gonna be making an OnlyFans. We're gonna get crazy.
We're gonna be out here
eating and man, I just don't know how she got that lid over the tank. I don't know. Go out and check the documentaries too, because there's some.
And watch Breaking Bad.
Watch Making a Murderer first, season 1, 2, and then watch Breaking Bad. But yeah, so we're out here chopping. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. And shit. Anything else to? I mean, you're super tatted, putting me to shame again. But
shout out to Fritz, my tattoo artist. Got my knees done a few weeks ago, and yeah, shit was crazy.
Nice, couple inches taller now. I like that. Gonna be dunking soon.
You want to see? I'm gonna see if I can.
Oh, yeah, pull him up. Ooh, spider web. That means he's killed 3 people.
That's what that means. The other one done too.
Hey, are you going full sleeve, full leg?
Eventually, probably.
That's gonna be great. Hey, me too.
So we'll see.
No, probably not. But anyway, yeah, I think. Oh, there it goes. It was buffering. But yeah, just a little, that was a little extra that you guys got to see my boy's kneecaps up in here. If you don't want yours broken, you better stick with the pod. Hit that like button. I don't know what you're viewing this on, but keep on chopping.
Keep on chopping.